GWATA TV gives you a first look at North Central Washington's business news. You'll hear from our local business, tech, and education companies as Jenny discusses hot topics and current events with some of the best innovators and pioneers in North Central Washington.
Hello, North Central Washington. My name is Jenny Rojanasatian, and I am your host here on GWATA TV. I am so excited to be back with you today to start off Season 4 of GWATA TV. If this is your first time tuning in, what we do every week on the show is feature entrepreneurs, business owners, educators, or students who are making an impact in North Central Washington. GWATA is a 501c3, and we're really passionate about supporting people, technology resources, and telling the story of innovation across our community. On today's episode, I'm going to feature two entrepreneurs that you may not have heard of before, Larry LaMotte with Recapturit and Scott Ptolemy of Web Guidz. These two entrepreneurs have very unique stories. They both have businesses right here in our community and have great plans for the future. So I hope you'll come back after the break as we bring on our first entrepreneur and the start of Season 4. Welcome back to GWATA TV. We are now on air with Larry LaMotte, founder of Recapturit. Welcome to our show.
Jenny, thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So we met a few months ago at a Tech Talk and Happy Hour.
We did.
Just moved to the area. Tell me a little bit for our audience out there. What's your entrepreneurial story and what's brought you into Wenatchee?
So that's two questions.
Okay, all right. We'll start with one.
Can I handle one?
Yeah.
The first question, the entrepreneurial journey, probably started when I was age 8 and I had my first paper out. I had 5 years of paper outs. Yeah. So that was the beginning. From there, it went. It was a bumpy road from there. But I had my first official business in 1990, and I've been a part of 7 different businesses since then. I really found the entrepreneurial bug, and I love it. My background's in architecture. I found that the one key point in life was in architecture school when we were told what we were going to earn as intern architects, and I had been working as a waiter, paying my way through 5 years of architecture school. He said with an evil laugh to 150 cold, tired students, "I'm going to tell you what you're going to earn when you get out of here." And he said it was about $6 to $7 an hour. And I was thinking, I'm a waiter and I'm making $20 an hour. So that was a moment in my chair in that auditorium when I said, I'm going to have a business. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to have something, and I don't know when or what. But
and generate that prosperity and for yourself. I love that you started with paper route too, because we hear that a lot. In fact, we just talked with Jeff Sorum, who was at the Innovator Awards, also started with paper route, also was an architect.
Right.
So I see some similarities there. 7 different businesses, and your appetite for entrepreneurship hasn't gone away.
No.
Because now you're starting another business.
Yeah.
So tell me, before we get into that, go back to, you just moved out to Wenatchee.
Yep.
So this year. And decided to start a business in your move out here. So why Wenatchee and why yet another company?
So the why Wenatchee is we love it here. We've wanted to we've been in Seattle for about 30 years, and we were tiring of being in the city. And we wanted to move out to Wenatchee. So when I had the idea for Recapturit, it's an online business, so that's pretty mobile. So I said to my wife, who would always be looking at the apps on her phone about real estate, "Honey, we could sell the house." I'm like, "Hun, let's put a plan." She said, "Okay, let's." So that was about a year before we moved, and a lot happened in that year. I sold a business, I left another one, we completely redid our home, sold it, bought a house here, all in a year, just zoom, 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 and got here in the middle of April when we bought the house when it had 2 feet of snow on it.
Wow. Well, you've had a very busy year.
Yeah, it's been a busy year.
And I want to welcome you into the community. And I love that you picked here because you don't need a physical location and a major metropolitan to start a tech-based company, right? And app-based. So let's go into Recapturit.
Okay.
What is Recapturit? What are you building?
So Recapturit is an online marketplace, a two-sided online marketplace, built specifically for the amplification of the flow of salvage building materials into new construction. So that means building salvage, it means construction demolition, it even means things like dead-end materials and seconds and factory seconds and so forth. All that stuff is going to get a huge boost in being diverted away from the landfill into reuse through Recapturit.
Where did that idea come from to market excess building materials that didn't have a place at that job site anymore, or the builder didn't have a use for?
Well, so I put myself through a program to discover a new career about 3 years ago.
Okay.
I came to a point in my life and I said, self, I need to know what I'm going to do when I grow up. And so I put myself through this process, and it covers 4 things: strengths, passions, marketability, what the world will pay for it, and good for the world. And out of that came the idea for Recapturit. It embodies some of my best strengths, my deepest passions, things that are good for the world, and the world's willing to pay for it. So that's
so you really had intentionality
complete intentionality.
I'm ready to start another business. What is the pathway? What will the market bear? And the market in excess construction materials. What is that market like?
It is fractured, messy, and largely non-technological. I joke that most of the salvage sellers, their inventory system is a Sharpie pen and masking tape.
Right.
So
just labeling.
Yeah.
X planks, this much tile, and I imagine auction style, or people just go through job sites, leftovers. None of it is any of it done online right now?
There's a little bit done online, right, but a tiny fraction.
Okay.
A tiny fraction. And most of them have not addressed the shipping aspect of it well, but we have that built into Recapturit that gives the ability to ship these materials all over the country.
Because building materials can be quite large.
Yes.
You're not talking about a small Amazon package.
Right.
We're talking about, I imagine, physically big, very heavy. So what is your unique shipping model? How does that change the landscape for getting products from Washington to, say, Florida with Recapturit?
So thanks for asking that.
Yes.
So when you hit our shopping cart, you have a choice depending on what you have purchased. It will direct you to what's called parcel size things that the UPS and USPS will handle. If it's bigger, it goes into what's called LTL, less than truckload size. And if it's big and bulky, that's our technical term, big and bulky, it goes into marketplace, where many vendors of shipping services bid on the price to have your product shipped. So
there's another layer of marketplace within your marketplace for shipping.
Yes.
Okay.
There are marketplaces within marketplaces within marketplaces in this. Yeah.
Okay. And who will use Recapturit? Is it going to be, a family who's just built a house and has leftover? Is it giant commercial users? Who's going to utilize your company?
So, well, that's a great question too. Initially, we're going to start with those that are already buying the stuff. We call that the Pinterest and HGTV crowd.
Okay.
They love it. They buy it. They use it. They want it, and it's everything from designers and architects to homeowners and small business owners, people that are doing office and restaurant redo. You see used building materials and a lot of those kind of things. What you don't see it in is the larger scale construction projects, because they can't get enough of the materials in the timing and the sequencing that they need in their construction processes. So our first tier is to get that who's already buying it, and the second tier in a year or two will be moving up into that larger tier.
Okay, so you got a strategic plan for penetrating the market. Totally makes sense too with designers. I mean, taking these aren't recycled materials, but it's
not yet.
But there's an environmental piece to this, right? It's taking stuff that would have maybe gone to a landfill or not be used. So there's a benefit and I guess a green factor that designers can bring into their projects to say, we've been able to recapture this material, right?
There's a reason for that name.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
following now.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the future. You talked about you've got a plan for your first market. Are you live? Can we go on to Recapture right now and buy or sell products?
We're about a month away from being live.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's been 3 years. It's like, please, can we get there?
Okay.
Yeah. May I hit that green point
Yes,
for a moment?
I would love to. Yeah,
Okay.
tell me more.
So that is a big aspect. And here's a very quick statistic from the EPA. So the EPA says that all the trash, the municipal trash that you and I and everybody else in the U.S. throws away all year long, and add it all up, construction and demolition, what's called C&D waste, is almost twice that. It's the biggest filler of dumps, landfills there is.
I was not aware.
Yeah.
I would have thought household consumers. No, construction.
No, construction
Okay.
and demolition is the biggest, and only a small percentage of all that gets what we call diverted, which includes recycling, reuse, upcycling, and all those different things. But it's a fraction, and so we're going to change that.
That's exciting. Congratulations. Unfortunately, we have to head off to a commercial break, but I want to thank you for coming on air today to tell us a little bit about Recapturit. I hope you'll come back in a few months when you're live, so we can hear the success stories.
Thank you.
Because I'm sure
I'd love to.
that'll be really powerful once you see your products make it from, a construction site to end user. And that whole journey. So,
Yes.
Wishing you the best of luck,
Thank you.
Larry, and thank you
Jenny.
again for being on air.
I appreciate it.
All right,
It's been a
thank
pleasure.
you.
You bet.
Well, we have to go to a commercial break, but when we come back, I'll have another very interesting entrepreneur, so stay tuned. Welcome back to GWATA TV. It was so fun having Larry LaMotte from Recapturit on for our first segment. And now we have another entrepreneur, Scott Ptolemy of Web Guidz. Welcome to GWATA TV.
Thank you.
Now, Scott and I have known each other for a few years,
Yeah.
and I have had the pleasure of working with you on the GWATA board.
Yes.
And working with you and your team because you were a finalist this year at our
Yeah.
Innovator Awards.
Yeah.
So, but for those who may not know you, Scott, tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your entrepreneurial story.
Yeah, so I started my career in Spokane. I'm a Gonzaga grad, proud Gonzaga grad, and moved to Wenatchee about 5 years ago and started my path towards the business we have right now. So I've been in e-commerce for about the last 10 years, and over the last 5 years, my partners and I have built an e-commerce company.
And similarly, actually, to our last guest who moved to the area and immediately started a new
Yeah.
business, that's a bold step to come into a new community and start a business. Was that a scary step for you?
It was a scary step. I think my partner, Jordan Lindstrom, I met him about 6-8 months after I moved here, and so he had already started that process of building a business. And so it helped ease my transition into moving to a new place and moving into a new business. We moved here for my wife's job, so we had a bit more stability in moving to a new area than you might just moving without a job. So
Right. So you had a partner at home, had a great career, and then meeting up with Jordan, I think at a GWATA event, if I'm
yes,
not...
we did.
Okay.
I took a lunch break from the job that I had and went and watched an e-commerce 101, and I was like, I know a bit about e-commerce. I'd started my career in that, and I was like, I want to see what this guy has to say, and ended up, Jenny Rickle introduced me to Jordan after, and from then on we just kind of kept a dialogue going, and I ended up working for him a couple months later. So.
Which is so cool. But enough about the GWATA introductions. Now, 5 years later, Web Guidz, you're quite diverse. You've really grown from that initial formation, you and Jordan.
Right.
There's now 3 of you,
That's
partners,
correct.
right?
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about what is Web Guidz and what do you do?
Yeah, so Web Guidz really started as a company that was building websites. So we were working with local clients to help them improve their positions online, and we moved more into e-commerce when Jordan brought me on as an employee. And so after he brought me on as an employee, we started realizing that there was a need for e-commerce focused help. So I became a partner in his business, and then we worked with some local companies to build their Amazon listings, to help build their e-commerce traffic, to improve their presence online. And one of one of our clients at that point was a fitness manufacturer out of Leavenworth, and he's become our third partner as of this April. So that journey went from us doing full-time consulting on e-commerce to, hey, let's start our own venture so we can better inform these clients, to now we're doing full-time e-commerce and not doing much, really, any consulting at all now. So. And
I think we have some images to kind of show through on screen here. So this is your facility.
Yeah, so this is our warehouse right down on 5th and Wenatchee. So this is what we've grown since April, kind of built up. We went from our small, really cool office downtown, right by the fountain, to now we have this space that we have 7 offices and about 8,000 square feet of storage space. So we're building this out to do our warehousing and fulfillment, and getting more and more into production in this space. So hoping to continue growing within the space, utilizing the storage space that we have, and then probably over the next year or two, really getting into some light manufacturing and some more customization stuff.
And we're seeing here on screen, obviously, different products. I'm seeing fitness products, aprons. How many different products do you sell?
Yeah, so we have 6 different product lines under the one company now.
Yes.
They came together from, the aprons came from Jordan and I, the fitness products came from Matt, and some of his kids had started e-commerce ventures. And so we've kind of consolidated them all into this one location, into one staff, really to just take advantage of those economies of scale that, 2 e-commerce companies in the same area were just going side by side, and combining really helped both of us.
And I imagine you need the same systems, you need the same distribution, the same shipping. You're experiencing the same challenges. So.
Exactly. We both came with different skill sets, and we're able to lean on. They've been in e-commerce and selling products for the last 15, 20 years, and we've brought some of the systems that we were using for our consulting and some of the more web focused things, and really come together to improve both of our businesses.
Does the diversification of products also ensure kind of your viability in case, I don't know, fitness, I don't know that that's going to drop off anytime soon.
Right. No, I think the maybe unintended or intended thing with having multiple lines is that normal flow of e-commerce, especially from a cash flow perspective. During the summer, you get really low on cash. You're waiting for Christmas. You're building up inventory. Well, some of our product lines, our men's aprons sell really well in June. And that's
Father's Day.
Right. Yes. And so that's a normally really low e-commerce time. And for us, having this diversity of products allows us to kind of even out that curve through the year, and allow us to sell products and have different spikes through the whole year. So.
And now you said earlier your consulting piece kind of became less of the focus as your own e-commerce companies were growing.
Correct.
So what is the next chapter for Web Guidz?
Yeah, so I think we're building our systems to the point that we can scale. I think we've realized what our strengths and what our weaknesses are a lot through the consulting and helping a lot of local companies. And so I think for us it's how much can we consolidate within the space that we have now, and then how much do we need to grow from a staffing perspective, from a warehousing perspective, but really focusing probably the next year or 2 on our systems, and then seeing whether opportunities present themselves in that time.
Which is smart, because you've grown so drastically just in this last year, right?
Right.
You were in 400 square feet
to about 10,000.
Okay.
So
really big shift. So kudos to you and your team for the growth so far, and to evaluate systems. How is I'm curious from the tech side, and you guys are really good at the SEO and the e-commerce. How has your tech team developed, or that talent in the Valley?
Right.
Are you bringing more people on? Do you have more resources there?
Yeah, we are. So I think we're using a mix of systems, so software as a service systems to manage our inventory, to do some of our fulfillment, to do projections for ordering and selling. And then we're bringing more staff on. We just hired a new creative director to really round out the things that Jordan and I used to do as a 2-person team, but now we're to the scale where we can't take it all on. And so we're finding people who have these skill sets that are better than us in each of these areas, and just trying to build all of these brands together and utilize those skill sets of these people.
And your company is all sales online outside of the area predominantly, right?
Correct.
Across the U.S., worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
But you and your business partners are so invested here as far as supporting community. So tell me a little bit about why is your business and supporting local so important to you?
Yeah. I think Jordan and I have both moved here within the last 5 or 6 years. Our partner Matt Hopkins, he's lived here for the last 25, 30 years, and so he's really been invested in the community that whole time. He and his wife are both teachers up in the Leavenworth area, and they started a fitness team, a jump rope team, as part of their PE curriculum, and that really morphed into this business. And so they've been invested up there, and as Jordan and I moved into this community, we've just realized how many great entrepreneurs there are in the community. And as much as we give back to the community, they give back to us tenfold. And I think we've met so many great businesses and so many great business leaders and just learned from them so much. And so it seems like every time that we get involved in something within the Wenatchee community, something comes out of it, and we learn something that improves our business and improves our lives in lots of ways.
Well, I think that's you alluded to it already. Entrepreneurs are so supportive of each other.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the magical reasons why entrepreneurship seems to keep growing and thriving, is because there's a supportive culture. But it also takes a certain personality to recognize that supporting community on the way is just an important piece, and not every company does that. So we're so lucky to have entrepreneurs like you, Jordan, and Matt, who volunteer with GWATA, the Chamber, lots of different nonprofit organizations, while you're really busy building your business too. So it adds a lot to the community. Well, Scott, anything else we missed on Web Guidz?
Yeah, I think we're just excited to see what the future holds. We're always looking for new fun products to add to our product line, and we're looking for new people to join the team. I think we're just kind of peeking indoors as they open up and see if there's opportunities behind them. So for us, we'll see what the future holds.
Well, I'm really excited to see what the next year will bring for you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on air today. We are going to go to one more commercial break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up today's episode, so stay tuned. I just want to take a minute to thank you for joining us today on GWATA TV. It was so fantastic to have Larry LaMotte of Recapturit talk about his new marketplace coming live here in just a month, as well as Scott Ptolemy from Web Guidz to share his entrepreneurial story. That's, of course, with him, Jordan Lindstrom, and Matt Hopkins at Web Guidz. You can check out today's episode and all of our GWATA TV episodes on the NCW Life channel website. So if you did not get to hear all of the segment today, go online, watch the full program, and check out some of our other episodes. This is our 4th season, so we've had incredible guests the last 3 seasons, and we're looking forward to building a new platform of great content for you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on GWATA TV.
Since 1999, GWATA has served as North Central Washington's Tech Alliance. As a 501c3, our mission is to bring people and technology resources together to create a thriving community. Through our work, we aim to inspire, engage, and connect.